Hi, my name is Cristy Flynn, and ever since I was a little girl, I've had a love for reading. I always loved looking at picture books and hearing stories. It made me feel like I was using my imagination to get lost in a great book. My family members have always inspired me to be a great reader, but the person who inspired me most is my grandpa. He was one of my biggest role models always, and he always had a book in hand, so that inspired me to want to read as well. Every day after school, we would pick up a book and sit on his big chair, and he would read to me until I didn't want to read anymore. He was always willing to read a story to me, and I loved that. I loved spending time with him, and he really inspired me to love to read. My grandpa also always read to the other kids in my family. My cousins and my brother and I were all really close, and my grandpa would always read to all of us. Anytime we got together for an event or a holiday, he would always be reading to us too. And on top of that, every week when we were together, my cousins and I would go to the library with my grandpa, and we could all pick a book. We would spend up to hours in there looking at books. We would read while we were there. We each got to pick a book, and our grandpa would read to us as a group, and then we could all pick a book individually. He got me my first library card, and I was so proud of that. I couldn't wait to go to the library every week. My grandpa introduced me to a lot of great books, and he inspired me to keep reading at harder and harder levels. My grandpa always introduced me to my favorite books, like some of the books in the Serendipity series. I thought they were so exciting, and I loved them all so much. I loved the choices in reading that he gave me, and I was becoming a great reader. But then, when I got to elementary school at St. Benedict's School, I started to struggle with reading. It was never my strongest subject, and sometimes I doubted my intelligence because of that. I was always really self-conscious over the fact that I had really low reading comprehension skills, but every day after school my grandpa worked with me, and he taught me to be confident. Even though it was always hard for me and I needed extra help and support in school, my grandpa taught me that it's okay not to be good at everything. He taught me that just because I was struggling didn't mean I couldn't be a good reader, and extra help was fine because it was teaching me to be the best reader that I could be. Help was a good thing, and the fact that I was getting it meant that I was going to be a great reader someday, and now I am. In elementary school, I moved on to liking harder and harder books. Eventually, I got into the Junie B. Jones series, and I thought it was the coolest thing. They were harder books than I've ever read before, and I was so proud of myself for reading them, and even more than that, my grandpa was so proud of me. He pushed me to become a stronger and stronger reader, and every time I picked up a new book, I was so excited to show him what book I was reading and how many words were in it and how many pages. He was so proud of me, and he inspired me to keep working at the goal of becoming a great reader. After all of the extra help in school and support from my grandpa, I really learned to be a great reader. Although it was hard and I struggled a lot, I got through that struggle because of the people around me that inspired me. My teachers inspired me, and most importantly, my grandpa inspired me. He taught me to believe in myself and that I was smarter than I thought. He taught me that I can be a good reader as long as I put my mind to it and I work hard. Today, I love reading. It's one of my favorite things to do. I always have a book in hand, and I love it so much. If it weren't for my grandpa, I probably wouldn't have this love for reading today, and I might still be struggling. I am so grateful that my grandpa pushed me to be a better reader because he knew how useful it would be in life. I use reading every day, whether it be at work or at school or just for fun. I always have something that I need to read, and the fact that I can read, I owe completely to my grandpa. He's always supported me, and he's been a great role model, and I can't thank him enough. Above teaching me to read, my grandpa really taught me to believe in myself. He taught me to push through challenges and that I could always succeed. Now I want to become a teacher, and I know it's going to be important for me to teach students how to read. I'm going to use my grandpa's inspiration to continue to inspire others to learn how to read, and if they struggle, I want to be able to push them through it like my grandpa pushed me through it, and I want them to teach them to believe in themselves. I know how important it was for me to have someone believing in me and teaching me to believe in myself, and it helped me overcome so many challenges. I want to be able to teach students to believe in themselves too, so that they can succeed. I want to believe in them so that they can believe in themselves.